Matthew.
At this time, I'd like to call the October 19th, 2023 regular meeting of the Common Council.
First, the public hearing.
Oh, yes, sorry. I will not open that meeting. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. This time, the city of Plattsburgh is holding a public hearing to hear public comment on proposed local law P-3 of 2023, local law amending section 340-10 snow emergencies of the city of Plattsburgh. City code of the city of Plattsburgh. I'll then take a motion to open this public hearing. Councilor Vaughn, second. Councilor Bob, all in favor of open the public hearing?
Aye.
This public hearing is now open, and any members of the public who would like to make a public comment at this time. I see none here. Well, no one here that is here to make a public comment. At this time, I'll now take a motion to close the public hearing. Well, motion by Councilor Vaughn, second. Councilor Bob, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is closed. At this time, I'd like to call the October 19th, 2023 regular meeting of the Common Council of the City of Plattsburgh to order. It is now 5:03 p.m. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Carly, will you please conduct the roll call?
Mayor Rosenberg.
Here.
Councilor Vaughn. Here. Councilor Kelly.
Here.
Councilor Gibbs. Here. Councilor Talon. Here. Councilor Bob. Here. Councilor Moore.
Here.
All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the October 5th, 2023 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Bob. Any changes, deletions, or alterations? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, please do ask that you state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address the council. It's a bit of a formality, but we'll move on. We'll now go to committee reports. Each state committee is chaired by a councilor, and I will call on the chairperson of the committee, starting with city operations.
We've got one resolution on tonight's agenda, and our next meeting could be on October 13th.
Thanks, Councilor.
Okay, November 13th.
Yep.
See, I've got children over that.
Finance and community development. We did have our meeting last week. Items 7025 through 7205 and 7207. Our next meeting is November 9th. I will also note that the Smart Code Plattsburgh public meetings were kicked off this week. We had 3 public meetings. One was a general meeting. We had a business focused stakeholder meeting, and we also had a biking or multimodal transportation focus meeting, and we'll continue that process. Again, encourage councilors to attend these meetings as well as follow the progress of that project through the My City of Plattsburgh portal. City Infrastructure, Councilor Kelly.
No updates, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Public Safety, Councilor.
Our next meeting is November 20th at 5 p.m. Tonight we have a couple different items on the agenda in a couple different areas. Otherwise, just want to say we've been doing a lot of good work and having good conversations about some important public safety measures in different areas, and I'm just proud of the work we're doing right now. So thanks to the committee.
Thank you. We'll now move on to liaison reports. Plattsburgh Public Library Council.
Their next meeting is Tuesday, the 24th, next week. Do not have anything to report at this time.
Plattsburgh Municipal Library Council.
I have no updates. Our next meeting is November 30th. And that was, I think, will be the last one for the year.
Thank you. Legislative Task Force liaison skids and or
No updates. We didn't have a meeting this month because of the meeting last night.
A few of the members of the task force were at the community zoning workshop, and I want to say thank you for having that, because that was very valuable for our community to have their input and get some questions answered.
Thank you, Councilor. Do you sell any staff member reports? No. I'll note that traffic order establishing traffic flow designation number 2022.2 has been presented to the council. There are no special committee reports at this time. I'll now report on the payrolls of the various city departments approved by the common council for the week ending October 18, 2023, in the amount of $210,204.34. I'll also report on the bills audited by the common council for the weeks ending October 13, 2023, in the amount of $1,919,001.63, and October 20th, 2023, in the amount of $2,643,134.74. Before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that the majority of these resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committee of the department heads, and we're now taking action on the items in large part due to the recommendation of those committees. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolution to be acted on?
Item 7.204, approval of road closure for downtown trick or treat event on October 28, 2023.
Motion by Councilor Towns, second by Councilor Pop. Discussion.
Just very excited about this event. It's very fun year after year. The kids absolutely love it, and I love participating with Councilor Bott and Barty, and we love giving candy out to the kids, seeing all the little dressed up kids. It's just a lot of fun. I encourage everybody to come down and have some fun. And it's also right after the ribbon cutting for Margaret Street, so it's gonna be a great day for Plattsburgh.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Item 7.205, authorized certificate of withdrawal from foreclosure of a city of Plattsburgh property tax lien 206 US Oval.
Motion. Councilor Pop, second.
I'll second.
Second by Councilor Kelly. Discussion.
I'm gonna start this one off, not, but, I went down there again. I peeked in the windows and it's fine. I don't know if you guys ever saw the plaque in the front of the building. It's clearly a historical building. On that plaque, it says, right on the front entryway, it says that the building was started in 1890. When the Army base closed, they were going to tear it down. But the people put up a really big fuss, so the base stayed open. That building was finished in 1900 and became the headquarters for the Army base and was dedicated to the soldiers in the Spanish-American War. There's also, if I understand it right, on the front, right in the front, maybe in the grass, I guess you could say there's a historic landmark plaque. So clearly this building has to be historic.
I don't know if it's on a historic registry or it could be historic, but this item on the agenda.
This goes with 7.206, correct?
So this item on the agenda tonight is simply stating that the city of Plattsburgh will not take the property in a foreclosure proceeding. We're not saying anything other than that. That's the only thing that we're saying for this item and for the next.
We're not taking ownership.
Correct. We're not taking ownership of the building in a foreclosure proceeding.
We're demolishing.
Right, so
I'm not quite following your concern or your statement.
My
other than-
concern
yeah.
is that we're saying no, we don't, I mean, that we're saying that we're withdrawing from the foreclosure.
Correct.
So he or whoever this person is that owns it, we're gonna let him maintain it or keep it, correct? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Essentially, you're saying the city of Plattsburgh will not take ownership of this property in a foreclosure proceeding.
But don't you think that if we took ownership of it because of this, what I just read would be beneficial?
Well, I mean, philosophically, we could have a debate about if the city of Plattsburgh took ownership, then what would the city of Plattsburgh do with it?
Right.
Yes, that's the question. What would the city of Plattsburgh do with a derelict building that requires potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars of improvement and renovation to then turn around and sell it or promote it for sale?
It's 1.2 acres.
Yeah.
What if there was a grant obtained to, I don't know, fix it up to the point that it could be sold to the city. Or the city could sell it and reap those benefits from selling it.
Sure, so typically there are no grants available for that purpose. There may be grants available for, say, like, Restore New York, which we use for the farmers market, which was to tear buildings down for then a rebuild or some type of repurpose for public-private partnership. There are no opportunities or grants for historic preservation or historic rebuilds for a municipality like ours, and potentially for private companies, which is why this building has sat in the state that it has sat.
See, I thought that we had gotten a grant for the crate to be torn down. Now, that was before me, so I don't understand how that was torn down. I thought it was with the grant.
We did not use a grant to tear down the Crate Center. We used part of the American Rescue Plan Act funds, $300,000 or so, $350,000 or so to tear that building down. That was not a grant. That is not a grant that we applied for and pursued to tear that building down.
No, but we applied for the grant after the fact to get reimbursed under the Restore New York, and there's a provision in Restore New York for rehab of buildings.
Correct, and we did not obtain any grants for either pre-application or post-application for crate demolition. We did not obtain any grants because, again, typically those types of uses for that particular case, we simply just there are no grants available for something like that.
Well, I'm gonna follow up what Julie is saying, and it's an historic building. The owner of the LLC is a local realtor and a landlord. I found out who the owner was. How long has this property been damaged and languishing? I know, Richard, I know you sent us some information and I don't remember offhand exactly how long. I know it's been damaged with the roof issues in the back of the building since I've been on council, since 2019. We've been talking about this. So if we're saying it has hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of repair, the owner of the LLC has the means, obviously, to repair it. He hasn't done it. And he's not going to do anything. We have the ability to foreclose on the property, seize ownership of it, and do something with it, either demolition the building, demolish the building, or pursue it, as Julie suggests, maybe look for a different avenue to salvage the building. But it really bothers me that we have people of means allowing their buildings to fall into such disrepair, and we have an opportunity to foreclose on this property, and I think that we should. And I don't like the precedent of having the opportunity to foreclose on a property and backing off and saying, no, we're not going to do it, and then allowing it to continue to languish. I think that sends a really bad message to these derelict owners of these properties. And it's not like we're foreclosing on a property owned by someone who is struggling financially, can't pay the taxes, maybe they lost their job or something like that. I know those kinds of foreclosures happen as well. That's not what this is. This is somebody who has purposely neglected that building. He has the means and he won't do it. And I think we should seize ownership of the property by foreclosing on it and decide what to do next.
What's the precedent? Again, the flip side of that is the precedent that we set by taking properties that have been ignored and then saying, okay, well, you've let this language, you've let this ignored. So the city will come in and swoop in and will take the property off your hands rather than hold you accountable, much like 15 Cal Street.
But we can't hold him accountable because he's hiding behind an LLC.
Same thing with 15 Cal Street. The city does not want to take on the liability and the cost expense of what it will take to either put grant resources towards it or put demolition resources towards it. And if what Councilor Bond is saying, it's a historic building, we should take it and preserve it, it's kind of two different messages here. We take it and tear it down, we take it and find resources, or we take it and try to fix it ourselves. Neither of them are really great solutions. And I do not believe that it would be fiscally responsible for the city to take over ownership of a property to then do what with it? Let it further deteriorate?
Well, that's where we're headed. I just want to weigh in here and say, this is where we were 11 years ago with Couch Street. It languished and languished, and we ended up getting nothing in addition what we would have gotten originally. The apparent landowner is letting it languish and will continue to let it languish. So if we should send a message that, hey, if you're not gonna keep these properties up, we will take them over, we'll auction them off. That's 1.2 acres of prime property right there on the oval. We get a lot of our money back. I went and looked at it very carefully. The back building is not in good shape. The element. The basic building itself is in pretty, I mean, I didn't go inside, so I can't tell you what was inside of that thing. The structure itself is in pretty gosh darn good shape. It's pretty solid, it's still pretty square, the roof is not, the roof on the back part is bad. But if we're gonna go down the same road that we did, we're gonna leave the taxpayers of the city looking at this building for 10, 20 years, and then waiting to pull the trigger on it. That's foolish. We should take the property back and say, give the message to everyone, because we are setting precedent here. I would like a deal like this, where I don't have to pay my taxes, and you can just relieve me of my taxes, and I'll stay in my house, and I just won't pay any taxes. And I can let it run down, and everybody will be happy with that. I don't think that sends a good message at all, and it's not a good thing for the taxpayers of the city of Plattsburgh. We need, I think that building has some value, and at auction, it would go for something. The back building, I don't think that's got much redeeming value, but that would sell for something, and I don't think we would lose any further money. We don't need to lose any further money on it, but we're setting a bad precedent here. Hey, you guys, you don't take care of your property, you want to leave it, it's going to languish again for another 10, 20 years. And what does the city of Plattsburgh left with? The building is just worse than it was. I think it can be remediated if you move quickly. If we just kick this can down the road like whoever was in power back 10, 11 years ago on Couch Street, yeah, that's where you're going to end up. Somebody living next to this, or right on our beautiful oval for 11 years, 20 years, whatever. It's time that we send a message that, hey, we're not a charitable organization. You know, we're going to get our money back on this property. Just saying.
I'm inclined to agree with Jeff. I don't necessarily think that taking responsibility for the building and rehabbing it, or even taking responsibility for knocking it down is a great idea, but I do think taking it to auction and trying to recuperate some money. Plus, I mean, if the city is in control of the property, then we also have some control of the terms of the sale, which could require, you know, that the property is taken care of and managed in a certain way. So, you know, I think I have to agree with Jeff on that.
You're my
Ms. Kelly,
He's muted.
Counselor, you muted.
Mike, unmute yourself.
Mike, you're muted.
But he didn't ask to unmute.
Oh.
All right, we did foreclose on 15 Couch Street, and Council Moore's right. It did languish for 11 years, but I guess I would ask, why should we repeat that mistake on this property? You know, you're talking about renovating a multi-story building that's in pretty bad shape. We all agree on that. It's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, and we just don't have a budget for that. I don't think there's anything in the budget either for this year or next year to indicate that we're going to spend money on refurbing an old building like this. So I would say the best thing to do is to, you know, start to cut our losses by taking this off the tax rolls. And then, of course, we don't have to pay the school district taxes or the county taxes. So, you know, if you want to be fiscally prudent, then you'll vote yes to take this off the tax rolls. If you want to gamble and say, yeah, well, maybe we can do something better than we did with 15 Couch Street, then, yeah, you know, you can vote no. So it's kind of up to you. I'm going to vote yes, because I think that, you know, it is best to remove this from the tax rolls, not foreclose on it. And then we don't have to pay the taxes to the other entities. So,
To be clear, Blake, I never suggested that we remediate the building. I said that we should auction it off or whatever we can afford. Which would be
Yeah.
farther ahead than we are, by just getting rid of it, making people not pay the taxes.
I agree.
Yeah.
Richard, did we ever foreclose on 15 Couch Street?
No,
No, okay.
no, we let it sit for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, 6 years, and then decided to take it out of tax. And, you know, had we done it right away, it's my experience back in 2007, that the faster you foreclose on something and put it out there, the faster it gets taken care of. But once you let them sit and they freeze and thaw, freeze and thaw, I think they say unthaw up here, but anyway. Once that happens, you sort of deteriorate inside, and then they become more worthless than the day that you foreclose them. So this one was on a tax roll from 2007 with the new owner. It was part of the park disposition properties. Taxes were paid on all the way through 2018. 2019, the person decided to stop paying taxes. And I think it was because of what we did with 15 Couch Street, in my opinion. Where we didn't foreclose on that one. And, you know, since that, you know, me and the other LLC owner, they commiserate and say, hey, I don't, you know, it's the city's gonna take care of it.
Well, the city's taking, the recommendation of the council is the city takes care of it now. You know.
Well, I like Jeff's idea a lot,
Not
foreclose and send it up for auction.
And Richard is 100% right. The longer you wait, the less valuable it becomes. If we wait 4 or 5 years, no one's gonna want to touch it.
And then it was 2014, only 9 years ago, is when that fire occurred. And we stopped paying taxes. It wasn't 11 years, Jeff.
How many years?
9.
9, okay.
When did the roof cave in the back of that building on Oval?
I haven't seen the building in the back. I haven't looked at it closely. I know what it looks like. I've been by, but Matt's done an inspection of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dean, myself, Alicia, and 1 or 2 others, took a tour of the interior of that building over this past winter. Of course, it's the council's decision, but before you decide to move forward with foreclosure and the city assuming ownership of this property, we took an extensive number of photographs, and we should all understand exactly what you'd be signing the city up for. The interior is in extreme state of disrepair. Mention the building against, in my opinion, unsalvageable.
Well,
Just to be clear with the foreclosure process, when we go through that process and our petition is assumed to be granted, we take title of the property. At that point, we can pursue a public auction or a private sale. If there is no bidder, the city retains ownership of the property. Hence the risk to this property where it's significantly undervalued, underwater.
Wouldn't there be a liability risk for the city in this case, like, you know, when you're injured by something?
With ownership comes all the liabilities, as you mentioned.
So, yeah, that's the rest. I'd like to review the photos personally. So at this point, my suggestion would possibly be to make a motion to table this so that we could take a look at those photos and maybe get some more information. So, motion, put it on the table.
Motion's on the table.
Second.
Motion. All in favor, motion to table this item, signify by saying aye.
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 Nay.
I just want to point out.
Sorry, there's a
I'm gonna
question.
vote by.
There's a question. Yeah, I'm sorry. All opposed. Missing 1 vote, Councilor Ron.
You have to vote.
We're, just,
Yeah.
okay, there was a motion on the floor to table the item, the motion carries.
Item 7.206, authorize cancellation of a city of Plattsburgh property tax lien to a 206 US Open.
Motion, Councilor Bob, second.
Second.
Councilor Kelly, discussion.
So, do we, since we voted to table on 7205, where does that leave us on 7206?
Two different actions. One is to foreclose, the other one is to take off the tax roll, so that the city is not obligated to reimburse the other taxing jurisdictions for assessed taxes.
Okay, since 7205 is up in the air, I would like to make a motion to table 7206 at this time.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilor Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Carried.
Item 7.207, adoption of the final draft Harborside Master Plan for the city of Plattsburgh.
Motion. Counselor Bob, second. Counselor Moore, discussion.
I think this is a incredibly inspiring document with the visions of what could happen down at the harbor side. I'm going to vote yes to adopt this. It doesn't necessarily mean I think every one of these projects should happen, but I understand how much work went into this, the grant money possibility, and so I am going to vote yes on it, but doesn't mean I absolutely put my blessing over absolutely every one of these projects, but it is quite impressive.
I think it's an excellent plan. And, you know, I think the one thing my time on council has taught me more than any other is that the best laid plans, you know, don't always come to the exact fruition we would expect. So, you know, we will always be held by the constraints of budgets and, you know, council support. But overall, I agree. I support the overall vision of this plan and really excited to adopt it tonight. To vote yes to adopt it.
And I want to say that, you know, it's always important to remember that we are the lake city. So, you know, this is going to be, you know, showing. So I am going to be voting.
Yeah, any plan is a guiding document, right? And we are limited to some constraints for funding, we're limited to some constraints for design, but it's a year plus worth of work that really does highlight the opportunity that the city has to improve waterfront access, improve green space, improve livability of our community, and create additional access to the waterfront. Congratulations, Matt. Thank you. And everybody else who worked on this. Appreciate it. Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Carry.
Item 7.208, approved contract with Elmore SPCA for dog control services for stray and abandoned dogs.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second. Counselor Gibbs. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yeah.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Carry.
Item 7.209, authorized Plattsburgh Housing Authority contract supplemental police service.
Motion. Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Gibbs. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Carry.
Item 7.210, authorized travel request fire department.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second.
Second.
Second by Counselor Kelly. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yeah.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Carry.
You wanna-
Yeah. At this time, I'd like to introduce local law P-4 2023, a local law to amend and restate in its entirety chapter 17 flooding protection of the city of Plattsburgh, or the city code of the city of Plattsburgh as authorized by the New York State Constitution, Article 9, Section 2, and Environmental Conservation Law, Article 36. The public hearing is then set forth for Thursday, November 2nd, 2023 at 5:01 p.m. Copy of this local law has been or will be distributed to the council.
Item 7.211, secret classification with lead agency intention and referral of proposed local law to amend and restate in its entirety chapter 176 flood damage prevention of the city code, including the EAF part 1, to involved agencies, interested agencies in the Clinton County Planning Board pursuant to GML 239M.
Motion. Councilor Bob, second. Councilor Bond, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Item 7.212, adoption of local law P-3 of 2023, a local law amending section 340-10, snow emergencies of the city code of the city of Plattsburgh.
Motion. Councilor Bond, Thank you. Second. Second,
I'll second.
thank you. Discussion.
What's the difference between this and last year?
Just it's just, this one is the same public hearing that we just had. It's a clarification for when the time of the snow emergency starts and when it ends.
Okay, but there's no other.
There's no other changes other than the time frame for the snow emergency.
So I have a concern that I want to raise about this law in general, and it was something that was brought to my attention by some local business owners downtown, one in specific who kind of spoke on their behalf. You know, we talked a lot when we were developing a new snow emergency response a couple years back about what to do, and there were a couple ideas passed around, and we decided to try this. I think it functions pretty okay, you know, as inconvenient as it may be in most of the residential areas. But in the downtown area, I think it continues to be a concern. And what I think we're seeing is that even when an area has already been cleared, because the law states that it's 24 hours, we're not allowing people to park. And I think that that's problematic. And I also think it's problematic because I think that we are verging on the potential for predatory towing. And as somebody who's experienced a lot of that in my life, when I lived in Albany, I think it's very problematic. People are getting towed, and I was provided pictures of this from areas that are clear because the flashing signs are on and it's technically still within that 24-hour period. I really think that in consideration of our downtown businesses, especially with what we just went through with Margaret Street going into this winter, there needs to be a mechanism by which when the area is cleared, people can have access to that area. And as we've always talked about, I think downtown, you know, needs to be prioritized also for that reason. So I think this is something we need to continue to revisit and consider when it comes at looking at this law and the way that we're enforcing it. So those are my concerns, and I don't know if I can vote yes. I don't know that that will change anything tonight, but that's what I want to express and advocate for.
Yeah, so this doesn't change, this certainly doesn't change the process, and understandably that the process onto itself can make some, we can make some adjustments and some fine tuning to that process for both announcing and taking snow emergencies off. There is a mechanism to turn certain areas of the city on and off for snow emergencies. As well as one thing that we're implementing with snow emergencies this year is a snow phone, so people can call the phone, figure out exactly what is what's allowable and what's not, what areas have been where you can park and where you can't in terms of areas of the city, as well as particular parking lots. This item here simply just restates the time for when it starts and the time for when it stops. That does not then dictate it's permanent in that time frame. So if we announce it on a Friday that snow emergency is going on Saturday, we can turn it off anytime Saturday, and we can also make adjustments and what areas are turned on and off, just like we have in the past.
Absolutely. I just think that that's something that we need to make sure there are some conversations about, whether that's during public safety or infrastructure, to make sure that there's a solid communication plan and that that's something that we can also convey to some of our downtown business owners. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibb?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes,
Okay. No need for executive session. Is there any new business come for this committee?
I just have one question, for Matt, the pictures, are you going to email them? What are you gonna do with them?
I'll provide them to Beth, and she can distribute them as
Okay, all right,
whatever that's gonna do that.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any further new business? Seeing none, now take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Council Gibbs, second by Council Vaughn, all in favor? We're now adjourned. Thanks.
One second, I gotta go to your law.